did as well. Hold on. So yeah, we're going to be reacting to Ghost Train. We're going to be reacting to the Ghost Train the movie, Ghost Train 2, which is the movie. So I don't know, something's acting up, but we're going to be doing the movie. So here we go. I'm not going to watch all of it since it's 3 hours, of course. So alright, so I've got my, so yeah, I've got here, you can see my real McCoys, and we're going to go straight into it. I'm only going to watch like 2 hours of it, probably. Connect to the internet. Right, hold on. Let's see if I can connect to this. If not, I'm probably not going to be able to do this stream. I'm probably not going to be able to do this stream if I can't connect to the internet. Hold on. Can't reach it. Alright, yeah, let me connect to the internet real quick. Let me just check that my camera's turned off. Yep, it's turned off. No one can see my internet. Alright. Alright, yeah, yeah, it's connected. Alright, yeah, I've connected back to the internet. We're fine. That's why. That's why it was. That's why. Nothing. Alright. Good. So, if it was a bit laggy, then sorry about that. But yeah, we're back on the internet. The internet's back. So yeah, so the internet's back. Hold on, I'm just doing this. Now my food's ready right now. So do I do it? I'm actually I'm gonna do it today. Alright, so we're gonna watch it. Here we go.
I just built a budgeting app.
Oh,
How?
no, wait.
Base 44.
Advert. We have to mute it because it's no thanks. Alright, let's take a look at this. This motion is rated PG-13. Alright, yeah. This does not have that in it. That's just film www.filmratings.com. That's not real. I bet. Don't worry. That probably doesn't have it in it. So let's get on to this movie right now. Alright, so we're gonna be watching. Okay. Oh, starting.
It was raining on the night of Halloween. On the Captain Southwestern Railroad, sitting quietly, was ex-Clinchfield 311, an old 482 mountain steam engine. She was to take a train of log cars from Kenton to Black Wolf Logging Camp, and then deliver another train on the return journey. Earlier that morning, weather reports issued several storm warnings that was coming through that evening, and throughout most of the day. It had been raining lightly, but this was only the early sign of the bad weather approaching.
Well, old girl, it looks like we've got a storm coming in.
Just my luck. Having to take this train and then take another one down the mountain in a storm.
Don't you worry. I'm confident you'll make it without trouble.
Confidence.
Who is
It
that?
seems to be the only thing that keeps me going.
Who is that?
Despite what the others say.
Hey, no matter what happens, the manager
What kind of
will
train
not
is
let
that?
those fools touch you. Not as long as he, or me, or your fireman are here.
You're the only ones who have shown me sympathy ever since I came here, and I'm grateful for it. So what's our arrival time back in Campton?
Our arrival is 1 a.m., right on the dot.
Right. Let's get rolling.
During the run, 311 was doing very well, traveling 50
Alright, so we found a new train called 311. This might be Thomas's friend.
miles per hour, the correct speed to travel on the Miller River Canyon. It was still raining lightly, now beginning to follow with the rumble sound of thunder and whistling winds. They arrived at the logging camp at Black Wolf Mountain right on time. After being serviced and checked over by her crew, 311 was preparing to take the other train of locked cars back to Campton. However, there was
only been
a
3
short
minutes.
delay as the signal that gave them the all-clear malfunctioned. It was repaired, but this only had made 311 late for her return journey.
This rain is almost hard to see through. It's unsafe, and knowing how dangerous this line is in these conditions, it's almost suicidal.
We'll be home as quick as we can after we've delivered these logs. But remember what I said. I'm confident that we'll make it out of here and be home free.
Nice to do these skills.
The storm had gotten more worse for cause of major flash floods, loosening large rocks and trees from the banks, causing them to plunge into the raging rapids below, pulling them downstream.
Watch out!
Is this gonna be like Timothy? Is 311 gonna be a lot like Timothy?
No word of 311 at Campton was heard the next day.
311 had the
Minutes
same death as
turned
Timothy,
into
except
hours.
for it was
Great
on accident.
concern grew, and crews were dispatched to
It was
a
an
search and
accident this
rescue
time.
operation. When they came across the Miller River, they saw that the bridge had collapsed. They searched toward the river. There was no indication that a train may have gone over it. Other than the bridge itself, whatever happened to 311 and its crew, they had vanished into thin air. After a new and stronger bridge was constructed, strange events began to occur. A year after the accident, a freight train was heading towards the same place where 311 had disappeared.
Okay. Why is it all going dark? No, why is it going dark? The train's shadow can't be that big.
The engineer and the locomotive claimed to have seen a headlight, hearing a bell ring and a whistle sounding. But then they all vanished together without a trace. Many
What?
reports of similar events throughout the decades soon followed.
So basically
People and
Timothy then.
agents alike would report seeing
So that's
an
basically
engine
Timothy
trying
then.
to make it over to the other side of the bridge, but never does.
So that's basically
According
Timothy.
to the legend,
Hold on. I'll be right back. Hold on. Don't worry. Okay, I'm back now, so...
If you walk alone on the mountain line of the Highland Valley Logging and Mining Company Railroad in the fall, you might just hear the cry of a whistle in the wind. If you're brave enough to walk the line during the thunderstorm on Halloween,
This is basically just Timothy all
you
over
might
again.
just get a glance of a 482
This is not special.
with a
This is,
blood-red lamp.
this is
As
just
it
Timothy all
flares
over
past
again.
you, its whistling screaming into the distance, only to vanish in the night.
This time, no, but Timothy, nothing happened with Timothy. Timothy didn't do anything to them, but this one's doing something to them. So this one's stronger than Timothy. Okay. Alright. This is gonna be like the staring thing, based on the fanfic by KaneFan701. KaneFan, you're just making all the stuff. All the stuff is KaneFan701. KaneFan701 is the star. I have subscribed to him though. KaneFan701 is really good. And Thomas Fan Forever, we can't forget him. Alright, I guess we shout out to those people. The models. Well, I guess we've just found a bunch of stuff. Thomas Fan Forever made one of the models. He's like one of the co-makers, right? Apart from KaneFan. This sounds like Demon 311 moment. Alright. Shout out to Pudge Mountain. This would have never happened without him. So shout out to Pudge Mountain. Okay. Directed by KaneFan and Shane Ortiz. What? I thought it was Thomas Fan Forever, not Sean Ortiz. Well, let's see this. It's a passenger.
Huh? It must be Gordon on his way back from Vickerstown.
Gordon. Oh yeah, this is Sodor.
Huh? What the? Who in the name of smoke bugs and pistons are you?
Clinchfield.
It can't be! That's my great-grandfather's engine!
I'm not surprised. I remember you back when you were just a child. Count your lucky stars, boy, for you're not on the wanted list.
Count my lucky stars?
Your grand-grandfather was once a good man, someone who many thought was a friend. But his mistrust ended up costing his life, thanks to that engine on the CSW years ago. And do you know why? Because I was that engine!
What happened? Where's 311 gone? That's the same place where Percy met what's his name? Timothy. That's the same place where Percy met Timothy.
With the summer
It's always that
season at
place.
its end, the arrival of autumn soon made its presence known on the island of Sodor.
We've got classic Thomas the Tank Engine music.
The engines of the
They
Northwestern
sound
Railway
so-
were working hard with great
It
pride.
sounds so nice.
However, this
Anime
particular
characters
autumn
again.
season had brought some new visitors to the island over from America.
Is that Pink Thomas? Is that a Pink Thomas?
The visitors were two engines from the Norfolk and Western. They were David, the sole surviving 2664 Class A, number 1218, and Luis, a restored class of the J locomotives. Along with them came Ariel, a surviving 440 from the Pennsylvania Railroad, Luke, a 210-4 from the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad, and Jason, a replica of a 28884 triplex locomotive from the Erie Railroad. The Fat Controller had given them a special visit to spend the autumn season on the railway, and to allow the public
Oh,
to
of
get
course
the
it's
chance to
autumn,
see
because
what those
autumn has
massive
Halloween.
locomotives were like in their day.
Of course it's autumn, because autumn is when Halloween happens, and Halloween is all the spooky things. That's my theory. Don't, and do not call me Sherlock. Do not call me Sherlock for that.
To the engines themselves, they found the people to be among the most amazing and respectful rail fans of
They
all
need
time.
faces.
Even the Fat Controller's engines agreed with that statement.
They need faces. That's what they need. They need
One evening at
faces.
the sheds, Rosie, Thomas, Emily, Gordon, and Edward were talking to David, Luis, and Ariel about supernatural stories that had happened on the railway over the years.
Your railroad is full of all kinds of unknown and ghostly things that are full of mysteries.
Yeah.
And not to mention, some are just as scarier as the ones we've encountered back at home in the United States.
You can say that again, Louise.
What's it like over there? None of us have ever been to the railways you run on.
Please tell us.
It ain't like what you have here. The railways in America are much longer and bigger, and we engines can do more work than any others. We pull much heavier passenger and freight trains and can go long distances.
They need
But at
faces.
times we have to let diesels help us out for dynamic braking.
The other engines were impressed.
Is there anything out of the supernatural, like any legends or ghost stories that have been told on the rails?
We've had several.
What happened to Harry Potter
but none of
Thomas?
them would ever scare you.
Why isn't Thomas
Well,
Harry Potter?
I'll accept the curse of the clinch field.
Don't bring that up, Louise. She might come here and curse these locos and their railroad.
Who will?
Who's Clinchfield?
What curse?
Oh,
Yes.
now you gone and done.
Harry Potter is
You
back.
promise to never mention it to the others, or you know what might happen.
The engines looked at each other with curiosity and interest, wanting to know very badly. The three
The
American
drawn
locomotives
faces.
had no other choice but to
Love
tell
it.
them.
The engine that comes from this story is legendary and very haunting.
You mean like the untold story of Timothy that we told you about?
You could say that, but this one has been
Mhm.
talked about
Link
for
to
almost
Timothy.
6 decades, and everyone in America knows about it. Many steam engines and diesels had their own strange and dark tales, but this engine is the mother of all ghost stories on the railroad. Clinchfield 311.
Clinchfield 311?
That doesn't ring any bells to me, for it's an unfamiliar name.
None of you have ever heard of her until now. She was an old 482 mountain-type locomotive built in 1949 serving the Campton Southwestern Railroad. She had been with the company for about 5 months, but her history was very troublesome. She had a bad luck streak. It almost led to her scrapping, but she was sent to work on the Clinchfield. However, it only got worse after arriving in Colorado. 311 was what railroad men called a hoodooed or jinx locomotive, meaning that she was a rolling disaster waiting to happen whether she liked it or not. During her career with the Clinchfield, she had unintentionally injured and killed 20 railroad men, and all because of this jinx. Because of all this, 311 was yanked off the Clinch roster in late 1956 and was placed in an unused storage track in Elkhorn Shop Complex, where she awaited her fate. But that was not to be, for she was saved by the manager of the CSW, where he was in search of a large freight locomotive to handle the lumber contract at the time. After lengthy negotiations, the Elkhorn Yardmaster finally gave the manager the 311 for free. After that, she was restored to working order and moved out west under her own power. And remarkably, there were no incidents during the 1,369.3 mile cross-country run. For the first time in a long time, 311 had a bright future, now being owned by a railroad that cared about her.
Well, thank goodness she didn't get sent away for scrapping. That's how I lost all my LNEI brothers and sisters. All except one survived, and I know how sad I felt.
What about the other engines who worked there on Clinchfield? Were any of them friends with 311?
Yes, there were. My driver had recently made a discovery 2 months ago before we came here. He was clearing out the yardmaster's desk at the now-closed Irwin, Tennessee yard when he discovered an old picture taken back at
Holy
Dalton, Virginia
cartoon.
in 1952.
Yeah, I can see it.
The photo showed engines 311 and 150 sitting outside the Dante roundhouse. It was then that my driver had found out about the relation her and the Pacific locomotive had. Just like the men who distrusted the engine due to the jinx that was hanging on to her, the engines started to do the same thing, and they kept their distance as well.
This looks so
fearing
much
that they
like
too would be
the
jinxed.
1930s.
However, Engine 150 was not like them at all and was still 311's closest friend. They first met back in 1950 when 311 arrived on the Clinchfield.
Close.
They formed a tight bond with
1950,
each
quite
other
close.
over time and have been friends ever since that day. Even when
That's
the
quite a long
curse was
time
at
ago,
its
actually.
worst, 150 was always there for her, even after the CSW had bought her in order to start a new career. You could say the 150 was her light in the darkness that kept her shrouded.
Well, it's good to know that there was someone to be there for her.
So, was 311's bad luck streak over?
It seemed to have been. For the first few weeks of operation, everything went smoothly, but the curse soon made its presence known once again. Now that's when almost everyone on the Campton Southwestern Railroad grew into mistrust in 311. She couldn't understand it herself, no matter what. Something was out of her control, and no one could ever tell the real reason. Deep down inside, she was very lonely. Her only real friends were her driver, fireman, and the manager. They did what they could to help 311, but to the others, including the dadgum company's president of CSW, she was a liability that needed to be put down.
Just then Luke came onto the turntable, overhearing the entire conversation.
You're talking about the story of 311?
Yes, we are. Do you know about the story?
Indeed, I do. I remember it very well, and it's very haunting. Though it's intriguing for me to see that you engines of Sodor are so interested in hearing about it.
It's something that we're all into.
What we would really like to know is, where in fact does the story of 311 really take place?
The story, ironic as it may seem, takes place on Halloween night, October 31st, 1957. Clinchfield 311
Of course it's
departed the
October
logging
31st.
camp with a logging train in the mountain and started the down descent.
Timothy music.
Not long after she left, the weather changed for the worse. It was one of the worst storms in U.S. history, with flash floods being reported everywhere along the line.
How long has this been going for?
The
Alright,
Miller
20
River
minutes, we're
Bridge
good.
was the last bridge between the mountain line and the safety of the yard. However, the flash flood had loosened large rocks and trees from the banks, causing them to plummet into the raging rapids below. Since the bridge was made out of wood at the time, the force of the water and debris slowly took out the supports. The speed through the Miller River Canyon was 15 miles per hour at the time, but 311 was running late, so the driver had the throttle open, doing 30 miles per hour down the grade. When they were starting to cross the bridge, its supports finally gave, and it collapsed, taking the train along with its crew into the river below.
Timothy Copycat.
The following day, a rescue was carried out, and they found total devastation. The location of the wreck hasn't been located, and perhaps never will. 311's remains have not been seen either. It was like she had vanished into thin air. After a new bridge was built, a series of bizarre events soon occurred, and thus the legend
Of course,
the
it's always a
Ghost Engine
bridge.
was born.
It's always a bridge.
It is said that on
Just
Black
like Timothy.
Wolf Mountain, there lives a
Timothy
spirit
Copycat.
cursing to ride the rails for all eternity, reappearing only once a year on Halloween night, forever doomed to repeat its fate. While it is said to be only a ghost story, the engines of Black Wolf Central will tell you otherwise. Ever since the night of October 31st, 1957, over and over again, once every year, the spirit of 311, otherwise known as the Demon 311, is either heard coming from the mountain,
Demon.
or can be seen sitting
Like my
there,
sister.
shining her ghostly red headlight at you, and whooshing ghostly red steam, or thundering by where the accident
My
occurred,
sister might be
trying
311
to cross the bridge,
in
but she
human
never
form.
reaches the other side.
I think my sister might be 311 in human form.
Have any of you seen Spirit of 311? I'm very curious to know, just in case any of us were to.
We have seen her, but we had lucky escapes. What she does is terrifying.
That's why we found it too frightening to tell you.
CSX Transportation, or CSX for short, runs the route today, and the ghost of 311 hunts the tracks. If there was ever an engine with the same number on it, she would think that it's disgracing her own, and would run right into that engine, and then it, along with 311, would never be seen or heard from again.
311 has been trapped on that mountain for 59 years. This year will mark the 60th anniversary of the accident. Many of us engines back in the States have seen her whenever we've gone up that mountain, but not the way she once was. She looks terrifying and evil with the personality of a demon. Luke, Louise, and I have heard her bell ringing and her whistle shrieking. And we heard her voice, but we were lucky not to encounter her face to face. Otherwise, we would not be here today.
Just how evil is this ghost engine?
Knowing what I went through with Timothy 2 years ago, I think this one is much worse and more demonic. I certainly don't want to even think of
Well, this
coming
one's a
face to face with someone
Timothy Copycat.
Likewise. But I deeply hope that someday this lost engine will find peace and move on.
That has never happened, I'm afraid. Very few have ever attempted to help 311, but no one has succeeded and ended up being killed by her.
What?
She does what?
Is that part of the curse of the mountains of where she's resting?
Luke, Ariel, David, and Louise only eyed at them worryingly and replied. The engines couldn't say anything, but they could
Wait,
sense
what did
they
they
were
say?
not alone anymore.
Wait, what did I say? Oh, I couldn't hear that.
60th anniversary of the accident. Many of us engines
Move on.
That has never happened, I'm afraid. Very few have ever attempted to help 311, but no one has succeeded and ended up being killed by her.
What?
She does what?
Is that part of the curse of the mountains of where
She
she's
she kills
resting?
people. All right, yeah.
Luke,
Well,
Ariel,
sorry, I
David,
mean
and Louise
oof
only eyed at
peoples.
them worryingly and replied. The engines couldn't say anything, but they could sense they were not alone.
Do they mean like actual people or trains?
Soon the subject of Clinchfield 311 spread down the line, but no one could decide whether to believe it or not. As
Well, it was
old
like the
saying
Timothy thing.
goes, things aren't always as
It was
they
like the
seem.
Timothy thing. No one believed it at first, but then it was real. Well, this time they have extra support from experts who know about the Litchfield curse. So we should be fine. So they should be fine.
Hi there, Luke. Look, about last night. It wasn't wrong of us to hear about that story, was it?
No, Thomas, but it was risky in telling you. Not that many have asked to be told about the ghost of 311. It takes great bravery to do that. Now, there's no telling me whether she'll come, but one thing's for sure. She will make herself known.
Luke! It happened again! I saw her. Last night, while I was delivering my freight train, she came right past me, ringing her bell.
You mean you saw...
Yes, Luke. It's unbelievable. But the curse has struck again. Who would have thought it would happen here on this railway that's not even related to ours back in the States?
You saw the ghost? How does this curse go? I'm asking this because I'm starting to feel it worse.
For a small little tank engine like yourself, you sure are a brave one. It starts to rain and the fog rolls in. If you hear the bell or a whistle, you better shut your eyes and try and block out the sound. However, if you see the Demon 311, just remember, you cannot run, you cannot hide, you will be found, but will never live to tell the tale.
So would that mean if me or any other engines saw her, then...
Yeah, that's how it goes. But despite what I said, run like hell, and for any scrappers on this island, beware of the red lamp, for you'll never know when the ghost of Black Wolf Mountain will show herself.
No, I wish none of us has ever heard about that story now.
Yeah, Thomas is very brave for a small engine. Wait, is that Patty?
As the weeks went by, the subject of 311 seemed to be forgotten. Until one misty night when Gordon was pulling the late night express.
Classic Thomas music. Love it. Why does it actually sound so good?
Stop! There's another engine in front of me! Driver, brakes! Now! What on earth? What happened? Where'd it go?
What's the matter, Goran? Did you see something?
I saw another engine up ahead, but due to the bright light, which almost blinded me, I couldn't tell what it was, but sure, it was sitting right there!
The crew became skeptical and told the guard who had just ran up asking why the train had stopped. Gordon told him what happened and he too became skeptical on the situation. The crew looked around, but they found nothing.
Is this some sort of joke? We looked around, but we haven't found anything. Are you sure you weren't seeing things?
I wouldn't joke about something as serious as this. I really saw another engine!
The crew, still being skeptical, decided to report the matter to the police.
What's the police gonna do? It's a ghost engine.
Puffed away and was
The police won't do anything.
But as he did so, he
But
felt
this is probably
in his boiler that he was being
West
watched
Timothy,
from
so
behind. He later told the other engines what he had seen.
You thought you saw lights? Surely you must have been hallucinating.
Hallucinating? Rubbish, Henry! I saw what I saw! There was lights on my line!
Did anyone else see them?
No one that I know of. I mean, my crew didn't see them.
You were hallucinating. Be honest.
For the last time, Henry, I was not hallucinating!
Yeah, but they've already forgot about him.
God, dear God, give me some patience.
Maybe you weren't hallucinating, Gordon. Maybe you were. We don't know. All we know is you thought you saw another engine on the line, but you never collided into anything.
I was not Oh, never mind. Forget I said anything.
Over on the Little Western, Oliver was delivering his final train of the day. He was well ahead of schedule, having left the top station 20 minutes early. He soon reached Tidmouth Halt to drop off passengers. Just then it started raining, followed by mist rolling in with the air growing colder.
Timothy's coming.
But then he heard the ringing of a bell and a deep-toned whistle.
They're the ghost engine!
Stop! Block your eyes! Block your eyes! Block your eyes!
Who in the name of Great Western was that? An engine of that size can't even run on the Little Western. And it wasn't British either. It was American.
From what I could see, it looked like the ghost of 311. I heard about it from one of our passengers who was telling a story of an accident that happened in America many years ago.
Go back
Meanwhile,
to the other
Duck was
engines.
waiting at Tidmouth Station with Alice and Mirabelle.
It's a bit misty out tonight, girls. We'd best get home quickly. You never know when the weather will take a turn for the worst.
You're a ghost.
What are you on about?
Nothing at all.
Well, it's just...
Just what?
We heard from Isabel and Dulcie about that 311 ghost.
What on Sodor are you two on about? There's no such thing as 311 or ghosts in general.
What about Dulcie and Mr. Clark? Remember that 3 years ago in 2014?
Okay, I'll give you that. But other than that, there are no ghost engines whatsoever. Besides, even if there was such a thing as 311, which there isn't, it would be too big to run on this branch line. Remember when Gordon took that tumble on the old branch line in 2002? That just shows that tender engines larger than either Donald or Douglas and Edward can't run on them. It's too dangerous. What on earth?
She's here! She's real! And she's coming this way! Who? The ghost of 311!
Don't be daft, girls. There is no such thing as...
Oh.
The bell!
Alright. I think you need to close your eyes. Oh, he's cooked.
What on earth?
What can you see, Duck?
I don't believe it. Red headlamps? Red steam?
Open your eyes, would you, Duck? It's 311!
Right, we'll be back real quick.
What?
Alright.
Carriage friend is right. You better beware of your surroundings from now on. Be lucky that my business isn't with you. But I won't. Next time, I won't be so courteous.
Nope, I think we've just found. So, yeah, I think we've just encountered it.
The next day at Knapford Station, Oliver and Gordon were still shaken up by last night's events.
Whoa, looks like you've seen 311 in person.
So that's who it was. No matter I could see the number due to the bright lights.
I heard the bell and whistle before seeing the engine itself, and then it vanished into the mist.
But something doesn't seem right. You two are still here and not gone.
I just noticed that myself. Because you said that if any of us get accounted with the 311, none of us will be around anymore after seeing it. But yet, me and Oliver are still here.
David, Luis, and Ariel were very confused. Over at the Royal Central Terminal, north of Vickerstown, but just before Barrow, Emily was telling James about what Gordon experienced that night. The Red Engine was amazed, but he soon dismissed the thought, although it briefly reminded him about that one incident he had when he had his encounter with the ghost of Engine 260 a few years ago.
Now that's some story to tell. It's almost rare for engines like Gordon to experience stuff like that. Seeing some lights and thinking another engine was on the same track as him? I almost find it hard to believe.
That's what he told us. As I said last night, Gordon thought he saw another engine on the same line as him, but never collided into anything. Henry thinks he was hallucinating.
Hallucinating? That's what the others said to me when I told them about that unknown engine on the Kirk Ronan branch last year. But they didn't believe me.
The story of 311 really
What?
has gotten
What's the what branch? The what branch? I don't know what that is, but I'm not gonna know.
If it's really here on our railway, then who knows what will happen to us. But some say that this is only just a made-up fantasy tale to just give us a scare.
I wouldn't say that if I were you, ma'am. Hello there, Emily and James. Tell me, what's all this going on Sodo about a ghost train from the United States? I've been hearing about it non-stop from my driver and fireman ever since I woke up this morning.
It's something about an engine who doesn't have a name, only a number, 311, and something else called the Clinchfield Curse.
That ghost engine, you say? Did Gordon see it?
He claims that he did the night before, but no one believes him.
Well, I do.
Really?
Yes. He told me about it just before I left Knapford, and I was quite surprised, to say the least. I've not heard about the Clinchfield Curse in a very, very long time. My brother's not the only one who has seen the ghost. I too have seen her.
You have?
Yes. It happened during my American tour in the USA in 1969. I was visiting the Clinchfield for a few days. One cloudy day, as I prepared to leave for my morning run to continue my tour outside Dayton Sheds, I heard an unknown whistle. And then I saw a sight that I've kept hidden away ever since. I saw her. Clinchfield 311. She looked terrifying, with red smoke coming out of her funnel and her cylinders in the colour of blood itself. But what I found strange about it is that even though she was looking at me in a very menacing way, she did not see me as a threat or that my number was not the same as hers. She said I was way too famous for the likes of her to take, but I thought I was really going to. However, 311 told me that she had tried to find closure and to cross the bridge from where she had fallen, but was unable to reach the other side. I can remember responding back to her, even though I was shaking within my frames and sensed that I was looking at death in the face. I told her that sometime in the future she would break free and find peace, and this curse that she had would be lifted. But in her response, 311 gave me a cold stare before she blew her whistle and left, before simply vanishing into thin air.
Okay.
Later, one of the other American engines came over and saw the expression of fear on my face. It didn't take too long for him to find out that I had an encounter with the Demon 311. That day has never left my mind, but what makes it more worse, I never told my former owner, Alan Pegler, all about it. I wish I had done before he passed away in March 2012 at the age of 91 after a short illness. I regret it deeply. I really do. Have any of you seen the Ghost Train?
No, Emily, and I haven't. At least not yet. I haven't seen it, and now I don't even want to. I could get sent to some scrapyard and meet my end there.
From what our American visitors told us, she comes at night at any time, but mostly on the day of the accident on Halloween.
I see. I wonder if this could be the time that 311 lets go of herself and move on.
News of Gordon and Oliver's encounter spread down the line, but no one believed it, and it
Oh,
soon
why does it
became
have to
a
have
great
goofy
joke to
music?
Henry.
And who's to say the big proud engine like Gordon and a proud Great Western engine like Oliver becomes afraid of something that's not there? That's so out of character.
Shut it, Henry. What they saw was real. Had you been there, you would have believed it.
I took the story of Timothy seriously, but all this about an American locomotive that we know nothing about, that I find hard to believe. Seriously, we're over on the other side
This
of
is.
the world.
I'm surprised that that they're not talking about Timothy that much.
That's just complete utter nonsense.
But apparently it's 2
Well,
years ago,
then,
so.
if you don't believe it, then why don't you go and see for yourself?
Henry just dismissed the thought and went to collect the flying kipper from Tidmouth Harbor.
Be careful of the lights, Gordon. They might get you.
What's this about lights, Percy?
Oh, it's nothing, Edward. Gordon apparently said he saw lights on the tracks last night, but he was the only one who saw them.
Did you say lights?
Yeah, it's a bag of baloney, really. Everyone's saying Gordon was hallucinating. Even his own crew doesn't believe it.
Lights. I wonder if... I'll need to ask Gordon about what he really saw.
There's so many American engines. But those are so there's so many American engines. But those are English, and these though are English engines.
What's with the hold up?
Luckily, I'm English.
To you, chap. But it seems the ship that is delivering the fish here is late. It'll be here within another hour.
Perfect. Is there anything else that can go wrong?
I'm gonna take out my charger.
It was dark by the time the ship arrived to drop off its load. The men hustled in loading the trucks with the crates of fish. The last door banged.
Why
the guard
was
showed
a
his
face
wing lamp,
behind his back?
And the flying kipper was ready to leave.
The flying what?
Time.
Why is that person so rude? Why is that train so rude? Number 3. Okay.
With his speed reduced, Henry approached the viaduct. But as he started to cross it, he could see a bright light shining ahead of him.
Stop! There's another engine on the same line!
Why are you looking at it? He's gone. Oh, now he's truly gone. He's gone now. Oh, he's really gone now. He's gone now. Oh, he's gone. Like, really, like, dead gone. Why is he not killing any of them?
Henry was so shaken up, his face looking pale with only the rain and mist remaining after seeing the ghost engine vanish before him. The following morning,
Island
the
of
big green
Sodor,
engine was still looking
2017.
pale.
That's like 10 years ago, so...
At the coaling plant, he told Gordon about what he saw last night. He was amazed and took this very seriously. Later that day, Gordon met up with Edward at Marin Station with a local train.
Hey, Gordon, I heard you saw strange lights on the main line 2 nights ago?
I'm not too sure. As I said before, they are rather close to each other. But I think I got a glimpse of an upside-down triangle, or something like that. What I could tell you is that for sure I know the locomotive's whistle sounded American.
Do you think it was 311?
It was, Edward, but at the time, I wasn't completely sure about it.
McDonald's!
But still, I wouldn't
McDonald's
only
right
know
there!
it was
McDonald's!
311 if I saw the number.
Lucky
Thanks to
McDonald's.
What, Ariel, David, Louise, told me and Oliver were so lucky to be alive.
Nearly an hour.
Otherwise,
Nearly an hour
we wouldn't
in.
be here. Henry had an
Is the
encounter
stream
of the
still
ghost
going?
train last night, and he was terrified almost out of his frames. Just like me and Oliver. He wasn't taking
This
or
stream's
being
been going on
vanished
for like
without
an
a
hour.
trace.
This has
You
been an
think
hour-long
perhaps
stream.
This ghost engine is after one of us?
It's too early to tell, but I've not seen the 311 in person yet. As you know, ever since the whole Timothy ordeal 2 years ago, the story was brought up by our American visitors, and this time it's one of their own ghost trains. Something tells me we're dealing with something much bigger than what happened when Timothy was here.
Oh, don't even remind me of that.
News of Henry's sighting of 311 spread down the line, but many of the people of Sodor thought it was still a made-up fairy tale. Halloween was just days away, and preparations were being made for the event that was to be held. As early evening fell, most of the engines had returned to the sheds to get some sleep. Unfortunately, some of them had to do extra work or make some deliveries during the night, whether they liked it or not.
This stream's been going on for an hour. Yeah, it's been going on for an hour, 100%. This stream has been going on for an hour. That's a new record for my streams. Why did I have to play this goofy music? Why can't I play normal Thomas the Tank Engine music? What's going on with the wind today? The Clinchfield curse is infecting the wind.
At Crovan's gate, a small rain shower had come over. Luis was waiting with a freight special which was being loaded with oil drums, vegetables, and other cargo materials. Peter Sam had been waiting with his train for the Sudrick Flyer to arrive. Soon enough, Flying Scotsman arrived with Tornado, double-heading the train with their last passengers, running a few minutes late due to some faulty signals and some troublesome trespassers. Luis noticed the famous A3 and the A1. It was her first time seeing them in person, even though she had heard of them from TV and social media.
So you're the famous engine I've heard so much about. It's a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure's all mine, madam. This is indeed an unexpected meeting, I have to say, even for Tornado.
The only thing that's ruined this is this bloody rain.
Oh, my sincere apologies there. Tornado is not quite fond of the rain. She prefers warmer skies and sunny weather, although we do need a major cool down after all that intense heat that we've had all summer this year.
It might not be bad, but it's much worse over on the mainland where the bigger rain showers are.
We've had worse. There was that one time when the Skarloey Railway suffered a major washout during the winter in 1961. Back when around the time before I had my new funnel.
So, how are you finding your visit on Sodor, I may ask?
It's been great. We'll tell the others back in
So
the
he's a
States when we
famous
get
engine.
home. This railway is full of wonder and joy with so many people, especially from those from the UK who really admire what America's steam engines are like when compared to theirs.
UK? That's where I
However,
live.
we've mentioned about the ghost story of the Clinchfield curse, which we promised not to, but I did by accident when the engines were asking about anything supernatural on our railroads.
The Clinchfield curse?
What's that about? None of us Nanogame engines have ever heard it before.
Flying Scotsman decided to tell Peter San about it since Luis felt too reluctant. He told him that he learned about the story during his USA tour after he had his first sighting with 311's ghost while on a visit on the Clinchfield. But then he brought up another memory that soon came back to him.
I don't know how I'm able to remember this, but by golly I do. It was the day before Sir William McAlpine rescued me to return me back home to the UK in 1973. I was in storage at a US Army base to be kept away from unpaid creditors. At that time I was heartbroken after Alan Pegler left me after he was forced to file bankruptcy. My 10 years of being with him was over. I was in a state of fear, for I felt I would never return home. While I was there, alone and mostly upset, I'd heard 311's whistle. And before I knew it, she was right there in front of me. At that point I just wanted it to be over and meet my end this way, rather than remaining in America or being broken up for scrap. But 311 didn't do so, refusing to claim me as a victim, still seeing I was not a threat. She got closer to me, her buffers almost touching mine. She told me that I must leave and never return to America, and if I was, which is not likely to now, she would not resist in taking me. Then, while still looking at me coldly and menacingly, she disappeared, leaving a strong but strange and nasty smell in her wake, which was much dirtier than diesel oil itself. It turned out to be a horrible stench of oil and smoke. The following day, I left and headed for Oakland, where I would make my triumphant return to the UK. That was my last encounter with the 311. Had she taken me, I would not be here today to talk about it. As I said to Emily and James yesterday, I never told anyone about it until just recently. And I still deeply regret it that I didn't tell Alan Pegler, Sir William McAlpine, or Dr. Tony Marsington about it. Even now, to this very day, it still haunts me that I can still smell that dreadful stench 311 left behind.
Let's go into it now.
Y'all were very lucky, Scotsman. At least you didn't end up like Clinchfield 3613.
Clinchfield who?
Who's 3613?
Y'all don't know who 3613 was? Well, he was an SD 45-2 diesel serving the Clinchfield before being passed down to CSW to handle the heavy freight duties. I didn't know him that well, but from those who did, they told me he kept himself to himself and wasn't much of a talker. But one thing was for sure, 3613 was a hard worker and very useful, and he didn't care if steam or diesels were better, and whatever task was given, he would do it. Sadly, he was one of the early victims of the Clinchfield curse.
How did that happen?
The year was October 31st, 1960. CSW was still running at the time before it was taken over by CSX Transportation in the 1980s. Former Clinchfield 3613 departed with a freight train from the large marshalling yards at Tidewater during a heavy thunderstorm at 8 o'clock p.m. The conditions that night were similar to that of when 311 made her fatal run 3 years before, but unlike that night, no flash floods occurred. 3613 traveled along the line making good progress, but according to the story, he stopped halfway across the bridge, hearing the sound of what sounded like a steam engine wailing out in the distance. His crew could hear it too. Then the engine appeared before them, and their worst fears were realized. It was the ghost of Clinchfield 311. Overwhelmed by fear, 3613 got caught in her grasp and suddenly vanished with no trace of his or his crew's existence.
Pause 3613,
Michael,
look at
one of
that.
the Challenger-class engines from the Union Pacific, went out to search for him. When he got to the last known position of 3613, nothing was there. But what was there was an awful stench of oil and smoke, and then he left to report the situation. 311's ghost had appeared.
Get out of here. Leave before I send you to hell.
Caught with the fear of being taken, Michael retreated and later told me everything and what had caused the mysterious loss of 3613. It was there that I became aware of the Clinchfield curse.
Would that ghost be able to take us narrow gauge engines?
I don't think she wouldn't want anything to do with the you narrow gauge engines. Besides, you're too small to fall victim to her curse, and so you're basically no threat.
Just to be the thick of 311 and a curse is now making me feel very uncomfortable. Please, Scotsman, let's go and head to our sheds. I can't bear it any longer!
Okay, just calm down, Tornado. I'm here for you so that nothing will happen. Even if the ghost engine was to appear, she'll quickly see that you do not have the same number as hers, nor will you become a victim and join the list of those she's taken over the years.
Tornado was still shaken in fear, but she soon calmed down. After another few minutes of talking, the guard from Peter Sam's train blew his whistle, and Peter Sam departed, still in thought about the subject of 311, shortly followed by Flying Scotsman and Tornado's train.
Actually, I think we'll stop there. Just about an hour. Right, just about an hour. So, okay, yeah, just about an hour. So, this was a good stream, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. And I will do part 2. So, make sure to be ready for that. So, goodbye.